Hello and welcome to College Cash. This is Money Michelle, and this is a podcast all about keeping cash in your pocket during your college journey. Keep in mind, as Money Michelle, my job is to navigate you to nuggets of information, hopefully worth thousands of dollars. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, I always like to start each and every single show at the beginning and hopefully at time at the end as well, with the Fantastic Five. You may be sick of hearing about the Fantastic Five. You may not, but we're going to talk about them because I don't want anyone to ever leave this show without knowing exactly what to do to apply to college. This is all about interaction. And if you have a question, if you are wondering of something, if you maybe need help still filling out your Common App, whatever your questions are, feel free to call in. Money Michelle is all about helping you out for free. I'm a volunteer. I started this position really because from helping my son. He got about $700,000 worth of scholarships, and I wanted to just share that because money is out there, but it's all about the Fantastic Five I'm going to mention and the deadline. Now, I do want you to know, if you have not applied to school right about now, you missed a whole lot of deadlines, but that's okay. We're going to still talk about what's out there, what's still available, how to get you prepared for next year if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior. I'm hoping we even maybe have some families with middle schoolers who are really not understanding that this college journey starts now, even as young as middle school. And I say that because middle schoolers here in Hillsborough, they've taken the PSAT. Seventh graders, eighth graders, not seventh graders, but eighth graders here in Hillsborough County have already taken that PSAT. So my middle school moms, my middle school dads, my middle school grandmas, aunties, godmothers, ask your student, what did they get on the PSAT? I know they're only in eighth grade, but they took it. Trust me, unless they skip school, because now, you know, a lot of them might have told you they didn't have to go to school today because they didn't need to take the test. But if they went to school on the day of that PSAT, they took that test and they have that score. It's all about getting them to log into their College Board account or use the app. They even gave the kids an app this year. So that score is there. So I digress from my tangent because I just want you all to know how early this college journey starts if you want to get some money. Now, you know, there may be those of you out there, you got a 529 plan or you got the 504, whatever the heck plan you might got, and you don't mind spending your own money. Fine, go right ahead. But if you're like me and you wanted to find all the money out there that's available, then this show is for you. And I'm telling you right now, you need to start thinking about the college journey as young as seventh grade. What is that? 12, 13, 14. I know it sounds crazy, but if you want to maximize the amount of money that you're able to get for your child, then you got to maximize that learning in middle school. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that with our special guest host who is going to be calling in just a little bit. But I told you I wanted to run through the Fantastic Five. First thing, always, always, always check to see if you have a fee waiver. What's a fee waiver? The fee waiver will allow you to be able to take the SAT twice for free. It will allow you to take the ACT twice for free. More importantly, though, the fee waiver is what allows you to apply to as many schools as you could possibly fathom for free through the Common App. And sometimes those applications, the Common App is one application, and you can apply to almost every school in America. There's like 4,000 different schools within the Common App. But each application may cost $25, $35, $70, $120. Each application that you are applying to, each school that you're applying to with the specific application within the Common App, remember, the Common App is free, but each school charges an application fee. If you have a fee waiver, all that stuff is for free. Now, you may be wondering, well, how do I get a fee waiver? Well, for those of you who are on free and reduced lunch, that is how you're going to get your fee waiver. Want to make sure you understand this, though, because it's a little tricky here in Hillsborough County. For those of you who have actually logged into the Hillsborough County site and maybe you've looked for the free and reduced lunch application and there's like this big red stop sign that says, well, if your school is a free and reduced lunch school, then you don't have to fill out the form. Please trust me when I say this. It is correct, but it is very wrong if you are a senior, because as a senior, you still have to fill out the free and reduced lunch form. The reason why, that's how Common App and SAT and College Board, that's how they determine who's able to get a fee waiver. So if you are a senior, if you are a senior, if you know anyone that is headed to college that may be on free and reduced lunch, it is extremely important to tell them they have to fill out the form. It's digital, it's online through your school district. And I know I talk a lot about Hillsborough County because that's where we are. But this is a nationwide show. We have people listening from North Carolina. I think we got a caller one time from Pennsylvania. So it's a nationwide show, but we're based out of Tampa, Florida. So I tend to talk most about Hillsborough County. I will say this, though. Fee waivers are nationwide. So if you are on the USDA free and reduced lunch program, you are eligible for a fee waiver that will allow you to get, like I said, the 2 SAT tests for free, 2 ACT tests for free, and a boatload of college applications for free. But you have to check with your school district on how they actually handle filling out the free and reduced lunch form. So I literally could probably talk a whole hour about the fee waivers, because there's another way to get fee waivers. You know, you actually can go and visit schools. Sometimes when you go visit schools and you ask for an application fee waiver, sometimes they give them to you. I know at Robinson High School, colleges would come to the high school and they would set up a day where students could come in and listen to the particular college recruiter, maybe during lunch, or you would pick a time where you would go, and those college recruiters would give out fee waivers. So there are plenty of other ways. If you don't qualify for free and reduced lunch, there's still ways to fill out applications for free. Sometimes just go to the website of the school that you're interested in. Ask. It's all about asking. The other thing too, and I've done a show about this before, so I'm not going to harp on it too long. Within the Common App, because I said there's like over 4,000 schools, there's a way to search for schools with free applications. So there's a lot of schools where you don't even have to pay that application fee. So I always start out my Fantastic Five, since this is College Cash and I'm Money Michelle, I start out with ways to show you how to save money or how to get money. Fee waiver, fastest, quickest, first way for you to figure that out. All right, my next one. I talked about the Common App. You actually have to fill it out. You fill out the Common App. If you don't know where it is or what it is, feel free to call in. We've talked about this extensively. You can also email me, money, M-O-N-E-Y, Michelle, M-I-C-H-E-L-L-E, 03 at gmail.com. Money Michelle 03 at gmail.com. So feel free, email me, call me. This is all about getting your questions answered. Okay, number 2. This is another one that is unique to literally every single school out there. You have to find your counselor. If you are a mom right now and you have a student in high school and you cannot say their counselor's name, I know it sounds like I'm singing, because I'm telling you right now, the counselors are the key to getting your transcript sent to schools. Every single school is different, even within Hillsborough County. I remember for my nephew's transcript a couple of years ago, you had to go in and pay like $15. For my son's transcript, they used a program called Naviance. For other schools, you would just send an email. Every single school is different. That's why my third of the Fantastic Five is find your counselor. You should know your counselor's name. The you that I'm talking to, students, if you're in high school, moms, if you have a student in high school, dads, the whole family unit, everyone should know any high school student's counselor's name. preferably you should meet with them, maybe give them a call, set up a meeting, just say, hey, I want you to know my student is interested in going to college. I'm interested in maximizing any type of scholarships that are available for him. Academic, I'm talking about academic scholarships. The athletic world, that's a whole different world. And I'm going to have to make sure I have some help in here to talk through all of those different rules. But what I'm talking about right now are for those who want your academic scholarships. You have to find your counselor. I know it sounds like, well, duh. I talk to kids every day. They don't know who their counselor is. They don't know how to find them. They don't know their name. You have got to stay on top of this. The reason why, when you are entering into your senior year, those application deadlines come so fast. And I feel bad because, I'm talking a lot about scholarships, but really most of what I'm talking about now has to do with juniors getting ready for their senior year, because just the seniors have missed a lot of scholarship deadlines. That November 1st deadline, that thing is a beast. I'm going to go through some of the scholarships because my guest actually graduated from, I don't know if you can see my shirt, but he is a graduate of North Carolina A&T. And I'm going to talk about some of the scholarships that they have, but I'm looking right here. It says they had to have already had their application on file by November 1st. So that's why it's important to know who your counselor is right now. Guess what? You're also going to need letters of recommendation. Your counselor can help you with that. All right, I'm running out of time because I told my guest to call in at 1:15, so I only have about 3 more minutes before Jabari gives us a call. All right. Next thing I need you to do. Let me back up at that fill in the comment app. Push submit. Yeah, really, seriously. Kids don't know to do that. Once you do everything, click submit. That's a real thing. You actually have to push the button. I know y'all might be laughing at me, but I'm telling you, these kids don't know. Trust me, you got to push the submit button when you're filling out the Common App for every single application that you do. All right, just want to make sure I mention that. Now, forwarding the test scores. This is another one that gets a little tricky. If you've taken the SAT, you're going to need to go into your College Board account. You're going to need to send your test scores to whatever college it is that you are applying for. Now, preferably, when you're signing up to take the SAT, you will put in the schools first before you take the test. I know you might be saying, well, what if I get a bad score? Well, okay, here's the deal. That's your score. You want to still send it because there's a thing called super score. So if you take the test first time, maybe you don't get the score you want. The second time, maybe you get a little bit higher in one section. Well, then it's going to count the highest section from the first score and the highest section from the second score. But if you didn't send the score, it can only count what you send. So that's why it's so important, and it saves you money, because if you send the scores after you take the test, you're paying $15 per score. If you put it in when you're signing up, when you're registering to take your SAT, when you're registering to take your ACT, if you put in the schools that you want to send the score to first, it's free. I think it's like 4 different schools. I can't remember exactly how many, but I know it's multiple schools and I know it's for free. So it's very important for you to forward your test scores every single time you register for the SAT or register for the ACT or the SAT. All right, now this one, I'm not talking much about this today, even though I know it's the hot button. It's what everybody really wants more information about. I want information about it too. It is called the FAFSA. The FAFSA has opened. The government said that it was going to open before December 31st. It opened December 30th, so it is open. Here's what I will encourage you to do. Go to FAFSA, FAFSA.gov, and create your account. I am very comfortable with telling people to go ahead and create their FSA ID, create your FAFSA account. This is for my seniors. If you've already done this, if you already have kids in school, then you probably already have a FSA ID. If you're freshman, sophomore, junior, you don't need to do this yet, but you do need to understand the importance of the FAFSA. So I am comfortable with telling people, go now to create your FSA ID. Just in time, I just finished my Fantastic Five talking about the fee waiver, filling out the Common App, finding your counselor to forward your transcripts, forwarding your test scores through College Board or ACT, and filling out the FAFSA. Now I have with me Mr. Farrell, Mr. Jabari Farrell. I have to be honest, Jabari is my nephew, but I'm super, super proud of him. He is a graduate of North Carolina A&T, and I have promised him we won't talk about FAFSA. Maybe. I'm just kidding. Jabari, how you doing? Can I hear you?
Good, yes. Hello, everyone.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to talk all about your journey from high school all the way up to now. You are teaching middle school math, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I personally can't believe it my own self because, you know, with you being my nephew and my last guest last week was really my goddaughter. And so I'm watching all of you kids. You've grown up. You've gotten yourselves in school, you've paid for school, and you moved on to the next step of your lives. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Jabari. You went to North Carolina A&T. Why'd you pick that?
Okay, great. So my name is Jabari Farrell. I am 24-year-old from Prince George's County, Maryland, located in the Washington, D.C. area. I graduated high school back in 2017. And I matriculated my way over to college right after. I did a 4-year plan at North Carolina A&T State University. And my major at A&T was a Bachelor of Science in Communication. I chose North Carolina A&T because I knew I did not want to go to school at home. I knew I wanted to go to school away. But I didn't want to go too far. And when I went to A&T for my initial visit, it just felt like home. The campus was not big, but big enough. The people were very welcoming. When I met with my dean of this, one of the communication school, he was real nice and it was just a very welcoming environment. So I said, okay, I'm going to choose this place because I originally was going to go to Atlanta, to Clark Atlanta University, but I changed my mind literally the week of, and I said, if I have to go somewhere that's not at home, I want somewhere that makes me feel like home, and A&T was that for me. So that's why I went on ahead and chose North Carolina A&T State University.
I love the different things that you touched on. First of all, you said that from high school, you matriculated directly to college. Let's talk about that choice, because a lot of kids out there today are thinking they should take a gap year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, for me, I know the type of person I am. When I am, especially as far as my education, I know that when I am determined and I have a goal, I need to move forward towards that goal in a pattern. If I take a gap year for me, I just know that I didn't want to, fall behind or lose interest or, a lot of things can change in your mind because not only are you growing in age, but you're also growing in your mindset. So I just know that I have to keep a steady
pace,
lifestyle choice when it comes to my education. I don't think a gap year is necessarily incorrect to do. I just feel like you should choose what's best for you. So for you, if you know that you do need a break before you head on to the next journey in your life, then take that break. But if you know that having a break will set you back, then I encourage you to keep going because it is a great thing. And even when you do get into college, I finished in 4 years, but don't ever feel like you have to be done in that time frame. Go as long as you need to, go as short as you need to. Just get the job done. Just don't give up. That's the only thing I encourage. But yes, that year I don't think it's a bad idea, but it just wasn't for me. I had to go straight in, and I finished.
I love that, Jabari. I think that you everything you said is absolutely perfect because it is. It's for the student. It's the best choice for you. Like you said, you didn't think gap year was a good idea. I don't think a gap year is a good idea for most kids unless it's a student who has a plan. They know what they're going to do during that gap year. They have perhaps an economic goal of they want to work and they want to save this amount of money to be able to go to this specific school or to this specific next step in life. So a gap year with a plan, sure, it might work for some. But for most kids, I'd have to say, just go straight through. Go ahead and go right on. Now, mental health breaks, sure, they're very important for some. If you need one, take one. But if you are able to move right into the next year, great idea, because that, again, is a way for you to maximize your money. And Jabari, I want to stop for a second before I ask this next question, because this is a great time for me to talk about the Florida Bright Futures plan. I know it's a Florida thing, and you're not here in Florida, but since we talked about the gap year, I want everyone to know that your Bright Futures is for 5 years. So you actually have 5 years that you can use Bright Futures. So if you do choose to take a gap year, as long as you filled out your FFAA, which is your Florida free financial aid form, then you'll be able to, and you've qualified for Bright Futures, which is a 3.0, 1210, SAT, blah, blah, blah. I can give you all those stats later. But if you do decide to take a gap year, you actually can take that gap year, and then you will still have another 4 years to use your Bright Futures. So there are some scholarships that will allow you to take that gap year, but sometimes for some people, that gap turns into a gap and not just 1 year. Right, Jabari? Jabari, did I lose you? There we go. Okay, perfect. Now, I also noticed that you mentioned 2 schools, one that you chose to go to, North Carolina A&T, and the other school was Clark. But it seems like both of those were HBCUs. So talk to me about your decision to want to. It seemed like your main 2 schools were both HBCUs. Is that what you wanted to do, or did you look at some PWIs?
I only looked at HBCUs, and I always knew I wanted to go to HBCU. Just growing up, watching Drumline and everything else, I knew I wanted the HBCU experience. So I didn't apply to any schools that was PWI. I only applied to all HBCUs. Mm-hmm. And out of 6 schools that I applied to, I got it to 5.
Wow. Man, that's great. Now, I don't want to take for granted that everyone knows what an HBCU is. It's a historically black college and university. HBCUs also will still take in everyone. You do not have to just be black, but that is a particular type of school that more so caters to your black students. Jabari, why was that important? Why did you only want to go to a HBCU? Well, you said Drumline, but what else?
Just the experience. The HBCU is unique, and that's what I really like about it. Of course, we all know that, like, in our communities and our ethnicities and things like that, we can get comfortable with things that we are familiar with. But at HBCU, even though it caters towards the black community, it does, like you said, it does offer opportunities for others. So there is other ethnicities that attend HBCUs, but the HBCU culture is what drove me to want to be at an HBCU. Mm-hmm. As far as different things like the different programs that they have, or the clubs that they have, or the bands and
music,
the homecomings, and all of that type of thing. That you could get these things at a PWI as well. But the HBCU vibe is just different, and that's what it was for me.
And what do you think about the networking opportunities within HBCUs? The fact that, people know who you are because it's a smaller school and it's more like a family.
That's right. It's a family-oriented type of vibe at an HBCU, especially at North Carolina A&T. And the networking opportunities are endless because we have such a broad range of majors. So we have people who have came in and left out and made marks, and now they have put on for us. So for the students to come behind us, because, like you said, it is family-oriented, they look out for people. When people graduate from the HBCU and become an alum, they stay with their university. They represent their university, and they put on for the people that's coming behind them for years and years at a time. So we even have celebrities that have came through, that have come back, and not only have they given back monetarily, but also with networking opportunities. I know Terrence J. went to North Carolina A&T. He's come and gives a lot of opportunities to people in the journalism communication school, as far as like BET or VH1, different opportunities like that. So it's not just monetary giving back. They also come back and, help out with networking. So at a HBCU, the networking, like I said, is endless. And then at A&T, we also have a broad range of majors. So even our STEM department, our engineering department, all of that stuff, we have people that have come in from years back that have come back and made networking possible around the university.
Right. Yeah. That is so important. And I'm posing this as a statement, but also as a question. It seems like DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, it seems like it's under attack in some situations, but then it also seems like it's being very upfront, where companies and schools are wanting diversity. Even though it still may be somewhat under attack, you do still have some folks out there making sure and understanding that diversity is important. And so, Jabari, what do you think? Do you think that when companies are looking to find the best of the best and brightest students, do you feel like they come to HBCUs because they're able to really find such a large pool of well-qualified folks?
I do. I think at this day and age now, I think HBCUs are definitely up higher in the map. So they definitely come to HBCUs and look. I know, and I know this based off of the experience that I've had at like college career fairs and things like that. The type of companies that are coming, because now we're having companies like Google that are there, and Deloitte that is there, and car construction, like big name people are coming to these HBCUs now to get our community out of where people say that we shouldn't be and put us where we need to be.
Now, and I hate to say this, but there are some folks out there who believe that students who go to HBCUs go there because they couldn't get into PWIs, which is completely wrong, because it's a choice. And I want to make sure that everyone understands your educational background. Tell me a little bit about your high school, your grades, your activities. You really could have gone anywhere you wanted to go.
Yes. So I asked the question one more time, sorry.
I want you to tell me a little bit about, I want to make sure people know you chose to go to an HBCU and that you didn't have to go to an HBCU because of your grades or your school or anything like that. So tell me about your high school, your activities, who you were in high school, and the fact that you really could have gone. Didn't you get a letter I remember you getting a letter from one of the Ivy League schools, because I remember it being a big debate with Papa. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, so tell me about how you had many options.
Yes, I actually had a lot of options. Like I said, I only chose to apply to HBCUs, but like she said, I definitely could have went to any school. This is my choice. In high school, I actually went to a Catholic high school. It's called Bishop McNamara High School. It's here, located in Prince George's County, Maryland. At Bishop McNamara from freshman year all the way to senior year. Every year, I did something that made a difference in the school to get my name. My sister went there as well, so when I went there, I already knew. I said, when I come in, I do not want to leave being known as Tanisha's little brother. I want to make my own name and do my own things. So that's when I went and found my own opportunities. I joined the African dance program. I joined the regular classical dance program. I was in the fine arts program. I was in National Honor Society. I was the president of the dance club. Just a lot. I did a lot with the fine arts. That's where I made my mark at Bishop McNamara. But we also had endless opportunities as far as STEM and I already said fine arts, athletics. I ran track there. I did golf there, and what other sport did I play? There was another sport I played there.
Well, I think the point is, I wanted the audience to hear that you were a great student. So you literally could have gone anywhere that you wanted to go, but you chose to go to an HBCU.
I graduated with a GPA that was higher than 3.5. So my application process for colleges wasn't too hard because, like you said, I could apply anywhere. And also with that type of GPA and the rankings that I had in National Honor Society, I also could receive a lot of scholarships. I actually did receive scholarships. I told her I wasn't going to keep on this.
Now, you brought it up, not me, so don't be getting off the call mad at me.
I I actually did receive scholarships. I was listening in to the Fantastic Five, and everything that you said was absolutely the process that I went through as far as definitely knowing your counselor. Knowing your counselor is definitely something that you need to do starting now. It doesn't matter what grade level you're in, because, like you were saying, they're the ones that will provide that recommendation. They're the ones who's going to get that transcript over, and they also are the ones who know people that can get you scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely that's how I was able to get my scholarships and get my transcripts and get to where I was as far as my application process into colleges and universities.
And see, I think what you talked about in regards to just your GPA, students don't understand freshman year. There are so many kids out there who tank their freshman year. And that is such a hard road up. I mean, once you get you just have that 2.0 and you're trying to get above that 3.0, it sounds like it would be easy, as you think it's just 1 point. But I'm telling you, trying to fight your way back from a 2.0 is so much harder than just keeping those A's and B's in the first place.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you knew that, and you knew to keep your grades up. How did you know that? Let's go ahead and give a shout out to your parents, because we all know you really didn't have a choice but to keep your grades up.
My parents have always instilled in me having good grades, the importance of having good grades. It's really your mindset. It's really your attitude towards learning. Mm-hmm. That's what pushed me through and kept me with keeping up with my good grades. Because I do remember sophomore year of high school was the first year ever that I even received a C. And I was just so devastated. I didn't even know what this was. I'm like, oh my God, this is me.
What grade? What class was it in?
It was the social studies class. Back then, it was called, I'm going to say a Catholic school, so it was called World Geography, Rhetoric.
Something. You probably blocked it out.
Oh my God, I got a C in it. And I just felt like I didn't know what to do. Like, oh my God, what am I going to tell my parents? What am I going to do? Like, and like you said, when it hit me, I said, okay, now I have to bring this up. Now, granted, my GPA didn't drop as low as other people would take it as. Like, oh, well, you still have a 3 something. Okay, well, for me, that was low. So I knew I needed to change my mindset. Okay, next quarter, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to rule out this, take this out, change this, get with him, get with your teacher, study more. Like, I came up with a plan with my new mindset, and then I was able to retake the class and pass.
And so,
not retake the class, but the next quarter, bring that C back up to an A for the action.
Right.
For my GPA back up.
And I love the fact that you're talking about, you were a sophomore. So what were you, about 15? So, I want my audience to know, so many of you think that a C is okay. It's like, okay, well, I passed, I made it through, a C is okay. It takes a C average just to graduate. You have to have it at least a 2.0. So that's a C. So a C is the bare minimum. F's and D's, we don't even need to talk about. You need to take them classes over again if you got an F or a D. You really need to, and then if you may have a C, you need to figure out a plan. But Jabari, there's students out there that honestly feel like, 2.0, 2.5, they're good to go. That is not the case. And that is why when I talk about College Cash, I have to talk about that GPA. So many people think that it's the test score. Yeah, the test score is important. Yes, that can definitely help get you more scholarships, but you have to have a very good GPA, and you have to have a good GPA in what's called rigorous classes. I know that you went to a private school, Jabari, so I'm already assuming that a lot of your classes were upper level honors types classes, maybe some AP, just those rigorous hard classes. You had a harder curriculum.
Yes.
And so that is also important when you're thinking about what classes to select. Because in high school, you get to pick and choose what you want to do. You can't fill your day up with basket weaving 101. You've got to make some choices to apply yourself and to choose some of those harder classes. How was that for you? Because I know sometimes you probably wanted to pick the easy thing, but you knew if you were going to go to college and were going to get some scholarships, you needed to pick a little bit, some stuff that would challenge you.
Yes. So definitely definitely. Because for me, I know that colleges. Well, now that I've been to college, I know that colleges really, especially coming to if you're applying to HBCUs or even PWIs, they love to see students who are versatile. So students who are stepping out of their comfort zone and excelling in those areas, that is a green flag for colleges and universities. So for me, I didn't in my academics. Like you said, my courses were already set up for me, so they weren't already on the rigorous track. They already had me out of comfort zones and things like that. So excelling there academically was great. So I already knew that I needed to choose something else that would make me stand out, which is why I mentioned earlier during my freshman and sophomore year, I played on the varsity golf team.
That was different.
A lot of our community young males, we don't really see it in golf. So I was like, let me try a different sport. So choose anything. Like I mentioned, the fine arts. Fine arts becomes something that I am blessed with, talented, and gifted with. So I already knew, I'm going to be a part of the dance, or I'm going to be a part of the chorus, or things like that. But if you know that that's something that you always wanted to try, but you never thought you would excel in it, I encourage you to step out of your comfort zone and try something new, whether it's academic-wise, or whether it's athletic-wise, or whether it's art-wise. Mm-hmm. Because, like I said, when you put it on your resume or you're doing your application process for these colleges and universities, they love to see the versatility behind our students.
I think that is such good advice because, unfortunately, so many of our students, especially our black males, I mean, let's be honest, they get caught up in playing what? Fill in the blank, Jabari. Football.
Oh, yeah, football.
And basketball.
Football, basketball.
And everybody's doing that. So when you have on your application that you played golf, you ain't got to be, because Jabari, I know doggone well, you wasn't no good at golf, but you tried and you played and you did it. And that stood out on your applications. That's a reason why you were able to get into so many schools, able to get some scholarship money, because you did something different. And I want you all to know, First Tee is pretty much free. It's on a sliding scale. So again, if you're on free and reduced lunch, or depending on your income, the First Tee will determine how much you have to pay. So golf, when you hear that word, immediately dollar signs go off. But I want families to know, First Tee is an avenue that can help to get your child through golf, even in high school. I got to give a little shout out to Robbie because he played golf. Jabari, Papa dragged him through golf his whole life. But I'll say this, he got a $10,000 scholarship from First Tee. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like Robbie, he's not currently playing golf in college, but because he continued playing golf in high school and he was still involved in First Tee, he was invited to the scholarship evening and on the spot given $10,000. So golf, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, Jabari, because golf is another way to really stand out on your application and help yourself qualify for different scholarship opportunities. And you reminded me too, I want to make sure I get Coach Sam on the show. So I need to, Jabari, write this down for me because he's my nephew. He can take notes from me too. That needs to be somebody that we actually have on our show and we talk specifically about First Tee. And I say our show because I'm roping Jabari into College Cash. So he's going to help me with all of my socials, as my sister calls them. Because let's face it, I'm a volunteer. I'm not going to say I'm old, but me and the socials, we ain't on the best of terms. So I know, Jabari, I'm thankful that you're going to help me with those different things. Now, I do want to also talk about the fact that from graduating from North Carolina A&T, you then went to another HBCU. So tell me about that journey.
So again, as I stated, when I originally left high school, I knew I did not want to do a gap year because I wanted to get straight into college. Okay, well, when I graduated college, I did want to do a gap year. However, I cut my gap year short. I only did 6 months. I went straight into my field. I was working as a marketing associate for a company straight out of college. I did that for about 6 months, and then that's when I decided I was going to apply to grad school. Mm-hmm. And like she just said, I chose another HBCU. Shout out to my uncle. Tennessee State University is where I'm currently enrolled at getting my master's degree. I'm getting my master's degree in professional studies with a concentration in strategic leadership. So what that means is I'm learning the master's behind being a leader, whether it's in a business, whether it's in education, whether it is whatever role. It's a versatile degree that I can use for the rest of my future, which brought me into landing a job as a teacher.
Oh, so you think that that was another way and reason why you were able to get the teaching position, because you've never taught before, but you're doing amazing in that particular career field. Okay, before we talk about that, though, I want to talk a little bit about you basically walking into a scholarship at Tennessee State. Do you remember that day when you met President Glover?
Yes, ma'am.
So I want people to know real quick, Jabari. The reason why I want you to tell this story is because I want families to understand just being there is half the battle. Showing up and being prepared, being articulate, being able to introduce yourself. You don't always have to know exactly what you want to do, and you don't have to be some, huge genius, but to be able to just articulate yourself, say your name, be confident, because that's what you did, Jabari. Okay, tell me the whole story, because I want to know how that day. I love that day, so tell me about that day.
I love that day.
And it wasn't even like you ain't want to go to some old people luncheon, but you did.
Right. So they know Robert Blaylock is, right?
Well, Robert Blaylock is my husband, and he is the sponsor for College Cash. So yes, they somewhat know who Uncle Blaylock is. Right, Bessel? Bessel's the producer. He's met Uncle Blaylock.
So he is actually an alumni of Tennessee State University, and it was their homecoming week about two years ago. And we were on the phone, and he was just talking about how that we like to go back and forth about A&T's homecoming is better than TSU's homecoming. But he said, how about you come see for yourself? And he invited me to come to TSU's homecoming. So I flew out there. It was like the week before. I flew out there the next week, and I went with him to this. He was like, we got to go to this lunch. He picked me up from the airport, and he told me before I flew, he was like, be dressed because I'm taking you to this luncheon with the president and like some officials at the university. So in my mind, like she said, I'm like, I don't want to go to no old luncheon. Like, I don't want to do it. Y'all said it's homecoming.
Right.
So he picks me up. We go to the luncheon, and it's very, very nice. Like he said, it's officials there, it's executives there, it's chancellors, it's the president and vice president, all of that, provost and everything. So we're eating. The program is going nice. It's the end of the program. And he's just taking me around, introducing me to some of the people on the board and things like that he's known since he's been there at the university. And he introduces me to the president of the university. Her name is Glenda Glover. And we spoke for a little bit, and she was asking me, like, what do I do? What am I interested in? And was I a student there? Was I alone? Was I trying to come? And I was telling her that I actually had just graduated that May. This was around October. So I told her I had just graduated in May, and I was in the process of applying to grad school, and I was just asking her, about the programs and things like that. And she told me right then and there, she said, we have a program here that most people do not know about. It's our agricultural program. We don't have a lot of black students in the program, but we're trying to grow the program. So if you came here, that would be a good program you can look into because we have the business aspect behind it. At the time, I was interested in doing like business management and things like that. So I thought, okay, good, I'll look into it and see what they have to offer. And she said, well, how about I just go ahead and offer you a full scholarship to attend the university, and you can be a part of the program and come to TSU debt-free and get your master's. And right then and there, I literally just dropped. Like, I just couldn't believe it because who would have ever thought last week I would be here this week getting accepted into the university, bypassing everything, and getting fully funded to attend the university. It was just an amazing experience, and I sure enough did join the program. I was in the program for a year before I decided I wanted to switch majors. But however, I am still at Tennessee State University, and it's been a great experience ever since I joined.
Mm-hmm. I love that story, Jabari. Now keep in mind, that's not going to happen for everyone, but you never know, that's the point that story is. Be prepared. Be willing to go to maybe a luncheon with some old folks you didn't really want to go to. Be dressed. Be ready for your opportunity. So many people, you walk around, not really looking for anything, not having good grades, whatever. You're not prepared. I'm all about helping you understand the reason to put in the effort, the reason to have hope. Jabari, you didn't know where you were going to get the money from for a master's degree, but you had hope. You had hope, you had faith, you had a willingness to step out of your comfort zone. Obviously, you're very articulate and can talk and can describe what it is that you want. Have you ever heard of what people call elevator speech?
Yes.
So I'm assuming, and excuse me as I sort of get myself adjusted in this chair. I'm short, so I got to sit up on my foot so you can actually see me. But I'm assuming you probably gave President Glover your elevator speech. What is that, and why is that important for kids? I mean, I'm not talking about grown adult people. Of course, you need to have a elevator pitch, which is a way to basically introduce yourself. But for a student, why is that important, Jabari?
So that people can see that you are comfortable and confident in who you are and what you have to offer. So in your elevator speech, that's exactly what you're doing. You're introducing yourself and you're letting them know what you have to offer and how you can be an asset to either the company, university, whatever it is that you're speaking towards. And it's just the same speech. You just keep it in your back pocket so that whenever you are in a position for opportunity, you know exactly what you can say.
I think that's great advice. But I think about the elevator pitch, but then I for whatever reason I just started thinking about like Instagram and TikTok, and don't people kind of introduce themselves on those socials as well? So isn't it kind of like you can kind of take social media and the way that you've put yourself out there, if it's positive, on social media, and that's how you can kind of form your elevator pitch for real life too? Is do you think, or am I off base?
Yes, you can. You can literally take any great positive experience that you have in something and put it into your elevator speech. And the elevator speech, of course, is something that you say in person, but like you said, there are multiple ways that you can use social media to put together elevator speeches as well, whether it's through a reel, whether it's through something you're talking about on your story, or, anything. There's a lot of ways you can get your elevator speech in order.
And I with you being a communications major and now, of course, majoring in leadership, for maybe someone out there, maybe they're not that great at math. Maybe they don't necessarily want to do STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. Tell me about majoring in communications. Why is that, even though it's a general, broad major, and in my opinion, you will need a master's degree, but why did you choose communications? And why is that good for somebody who maybe has no clue what they want to do? Because communications really encompasses everything.
Right. It includes a lot of things. So I originally chose communications because I knew off the gate, I said, I want to be on camera. Whether that's the news, whether that's TV, whether I just want to be on camera. But I did not know that the process behind communication. So the writing, the research, the camera development, the blocking, like the different type of steps it takes to get there. Most of the time we see something that we want to do and we just automatically, this is what I want to do, what I need to do it, and we don't realize the steps that it takes. Now, my experience at ASU made it all joyful for me, so I still love my decision to major in communications, but it is definitely, and like you said, it's definitely something that you have to further in your education. I would never encourage you to stop with a degree in communications at bachelor's, just for like financial things and like, other opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities in communications because it is so broad, but there's better opportunities with a higher degree in that area.
Right.
So that's why I chose communications, because originally I just knew I was going to be on TV.
Like me, huh? And I told you, you better go take yourself to get a master's degree. Because the other thing about, I know back in my day, when you did want to be on TV, I think I made I might have made $10 an hour, and this is with a full blown degree. When you're trying to be on air, it's a lot of sacrifice back then. And yeah, exactly. And I remember having this conversation with you, Jabari. I was like, if you want to be on air news, you need to go hardcore. You need to go find Timbuktu and send them your reel and move to negative below zero and be ready to be outside in hurricanes. I mean, it's crazy to when you're starting off in news, right? So I'm glad that you realized that perhaps that path wasn't for you. And it's not to say that it's not. You may want to get back into it after you get your master's degree. But I do want people to understand that communications is general and broad. It's a way to start. It's a way to at least get yourself into college. Because as Jabari's finishing his master's degree, he's now a teacher. Once you have a communications degree, it's a degree. And it can open up so many more doors than only having a high school diploma. So tell me a little bit about, we only have a couple more minutes. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing now.
So now, as I said, I'm finishing up my master's degree, and I got the opportunity to become a teacher in Prince George's County public schools. I'm a 7th grade math teacher, so I'm actually teaching in middle school. So far, my experience has been 10 out of 10. One thing that I enjoy the most about teaching is the impact that I have on the children, whether it's through the lessons that I'm teaching or whether it's just the life lessons that I'm giving. I love to see the way the kids interact with me and the way I interact with the kids, because I feel like it's more than just standing at the board and writing notes. Being a teacher has shown me that you are a counselor, you are a dad, you are a father, you are uncle. You're more than just standing at the board and telling them what to do. And I think that's what I like the most about teaching. And what I always try to instill into my children now at early, even though they're in 7th grade and they're only 12 or 13, I tell them now, it all starts now. So the importance behind your grade starts now, because this helps you get into high school, and then from there, that sets the tone for you to get into the colleges. So it all starts now. You're never too young, or it never doesn't matter. It always matters.
Every single class matters. It always matters. And now, Jabari, I know that we talked a little bit about some of the scholarships. We didn't talk specifically about the scholarships that you got at North Carolina A&T, because that was a while ago. But I've taken the liberty to pull up, because you're talking about your grades, you're talking about, we talked about test scores. I actually pulled up some of the scholarships that are available for first-year students. If you're interested in North Carolina A&T, after hearing us talk a little bit about it, all you got to do, and Google is great. If I had Google back then, I'd have been dangerous. But you got Google now. But the thing is, if you don't know what to put into Google, you can't find it. But that's what Money Michelle is here for. Put in Google, North Carolina A&T scholarships. A boatload of them come up. But the one sentence that I want to read, it talks about incoming freshmen automatically considered for scholarships once admitted to North Carolina A&T. But it says, your completed admissions application must be on file with the admissions office by November 1st for priority scholarship consideration. Back when I started the show a few months ago, I was jumping up and down about that November 1st deadline, because that is the main deadline to give you the most amount of money. I'm going to just read through some of these scholarships that are available. I'm looking at the National Alumni Scholarship. It's a renewable 4-year scholarship as long as students meet the yearly requirements. First thing I see, minimum GPA 3.75 on a 4.0 scale. Now, the ACT and SAT scores are actually optional for 23-24. I don't know if they'll be optional again, but you're going to need 2 typed and signed letters of recommendation, 1 letter from your school, so that could be a teacher or an administrator. I love this line. It says 1 letter from a community organization, so faith-based, civic, Boy or Girl Scout, Boys and Girls Club, Jack and Jill, so a community organization for some of your scholarships, you're going to need to have done something, and not only done it, but been able to succeed in it enough where someone has noticed you and they can write you a recommendation. It cannot be your relative. So you can't get your auntie to sit up there and try to write your recommendation. And then you also have to do a recorded interview. I like reading about scholarship requirements because you can't be a senior and you got a 2.9 and thinking you're doing something and then try to get a scholarship. Just like you see right here that I just read, 3.75. You can't wake up, October 30th and try to figure out who's going to write my recommendation. It's too late. You have to back that up. You have to back that all the way up to now. You need to do an activity. You need to know somebody that is within that activity. And you may think, I don't know anybody. Yeah, you do. You go to school every day. You know your teachers. Your teachers need to know you. What's the easiest way for Jabari to make yourself stand out in class? I'm assuming get good grades. So that was one scholarship. The next one, and I'm not going to read all of these because there's pages and pages of them. There's the Lewis and Elizabeth Dowdy Scholarship. That's another one for freshmen, 4-year renewable scholarship, which includes tuition, related fees, room and board. That's a full ride. Okay, and back in the day, a lot of HBCUs really didn't have that much money for scholarships. Today, you can put in almost the name of any HBCU and scholarships. You can get a list. Okay, so we have the Cheatham White Scholarship. That's another one for exceptional scholars, well-rounded individuals. That one's one for arts and science. So it says awarded to students with a broad range of interests, proficient in areas of both the arts and the science, who demonstrate leadership potential and a strong commitment to service. The February 1 Scholarship. Your merit scholarships, your endowment scholarships. Under endowment scholarships, there's another button that says click here. That's going to be a whole nother list of scholarships. Now, those some of those may be financial. You may need to have financial need. Your merit scholars, it doesn't matter your financial situation. It's based off of your grades, your test scores, your community service, your activities, your organizations, your North Carolina A&T chapter alumni scholarships. And then, of course, it lists some of your other big scholarships. Oh, Jabari, I see that you all are UNCF school.
Yeah.
So they can get a whole lot of money from UNCF, right? So it looks like I'm getting the countdown. Jabari, I told you it was going to go fast and we were going to do great. Thank you so much for joining me on College Cash. I really appreciate it.
One more thing before I go.
Yes.
Last piece of advice is please do whatever you are passionate about when you're looking at colleges. Do not do anything that you feel like you don't want to do. Do follow your dreams. Do what you want to do first. I always encourage people going into their 4-year university that they're doing something that they're passionate about, because once you get that degree, that's what your career is going to fall behind. Or like you said, open up opportunities for me. Had I not got my degree in communications, I might not be in the position that I'm in now, because I would be doing something that I do not want to do, following somebody else's dream for me. And so please, please, please do something that you are passionate about. And also, you do not have to work by yourself. You have find yourself a mentor. Get your parents involved, your uncle, aunt, whoever it is. You do not have to do all of this on your own. There's so many people out there. There's so many programs out there that can help you with this process. So I just want to thank you for having me today, Angel. And I hope that everyone has a great process. All my seniors, juniors start looking now. Everybody just get on board. And I just wish everyone all the best.
Thank you so much, Jabari, and thank you all for joining us on College Cash. I'm Money Michelle, and if you say you don't know anybody, that's not true. You know me. Call me. I'm going to help you with whatever you need. Toodaloo!